just resigned. He was the most hated of all of them. I don't know what they hated about him, but he's gone. EPA Pruitt resigns. So that's another story no one cares about, incidentally. That's about they care about. Bill Shine joins the White House. No one ever heard of Bill Shine. No one cares about Bill Shine. Never saw Bill Shine. Never knows why he's shining, not shining. How long it'll last is another question. But now EPA Pruitt resigns. He was under so much pressure, this guy. The left hated him. And he was a former attorney general in Oklahoma. He was a top lawyer for that state. And frankly, he was very pro-business. I didn't agree with much, or many rather, of Pruitt's decisions. You know that, right? Does anyone know that or not know that? I discussed with Pruitt my discomfort with some of his decisions. We argued over the fate of animals in the West, and I didn't win. And so, I could tell you more about it at another time. He's gone. Who will he pick? I don't know. Who was key to implementing Trump's, but came under a series of is gone. Resigned Thursday. What does he need this headache for? What did he need this headache for? What did a guy like this need this headache for? To make 160 grand a year and put up with this kind of crap from the liberal press. So tell me who's going to take that job now? Some left-wing wackadoodle who'll sit and talk about global warming every 3 seconds? No. It'll be someone even more conservative than Scott Pruitt. Mark my words. Watch out what you wish for, you left, because the next one will be even more conservative. That's all. End of story. Back in a minute.
Savage. Warning, the Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. Now, here he is, author of Liberalism is a Mental Disorder, Trump's War, and God, Faith, and Reason, Michael Savage.
Welcome to the Savage Nation Part 2. We're talking about this and that and this. We're talking about the paranoid left. We're talking about liberalism as a mental disorder. We're talking about America, love it or leave it. That's what we're talking about. So, Scott Pruitt resigns minutes ago. And right away the left-wing paranoids go insane and they start in with statements like this. This I can't believe. This, you got to listen to this now. This is written by Dennis Slattery and Chris Sommerfeld of the New York Daily News, a newspaper that loses $1 million a second. Listen to this. The paranoid climate change denier. That's a hell of a statement, since I am not paranoid and I have evidence that there is no man-made climate change. Now, the idiots who write for the newspapers are science illiterates who couldn't read literature in science journals if you tried to get them to read it. It takes skill to read the data. But right away, if you don't agree with their political interpretation, which was written before they read the science, you're a paranoid climate change denier. So that's why the left now is thrilled that Scott Pruitt is gone. But they don't understand something. Trump will pick someone more conservative rather than someone less conservative. We think he's going to bend to them? He's not going to bend to the losers in the media. I mean, those who write fake news for a living, there's something you got to know about them. And it's very sad to tell you this. And I'm not gloating over it. They make very little money. They have ill-fitting suits and generally very unattractive mates. And they don't drive cars. So they hate everybody who wears a nice suit, has a good-looking mate, and drives a good car. So that's why they hated Scott Pruitt. Not because he was a paranoid climate change denier. I mean, you want to look at the scientific evidence. I will say it again, all you jerks in the fake news business. Why don't you call this show and discuss with me the data and the evidence from the Vostok ice core samples? To me, this is the sine qua non of all of the arguments, both pro and con, about climate change. The Vostok ice core samples were taken from the coldest place on Earth by a team of 5 different scientists from 5 different nations. And they drilled 5 miles down into the Vostok ice core. And they pulled up the ice from the coldest place on Earth. And they looked at carbon dioxide levels from hundreds of thousands and further back in history. And they found out what? They found out that the Earth was actually warmer hundreds of thousands of years ago and had a higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now, if you try to explain that to someone in the fake news business who was too stupid to become a scientist, too stupid to become a politician, and could only get a job in a newspaper writing obituaries and work their way up to a newspaper, writing stories like this, you understand why they would say the paranoid EPA chief, the paranoid climate change denier. This is right out of the Salem witch trials to write a thing like that. Now you know why the newspaper loses money. So now we're talking about other stuff. Let's take some calls. Shelley on KSFO line 1. Shelley, what's on your mind?
Hi, Michael. So I live in Marin,